What's up, Meet Edgar Squad? Excited to chat with you today about LinkedIn. So a lot of the time when we talk about Meet Edgar, our social media automation tool, we're talking about using this for your business. LinkedIn is no different. Of course, you have a company page to increase your visibility and make sure that people know you're a legit company. Being on LinkedIn adds that legitness to your company. But did you know you can also use Meet Edgar to make sure you have your personal brand and expertise as a thought leader in your industry really set up strongly? So a lot of us here at Meet Edgar actually use the tool to post to our own LinkedIn pages and to post to our own personal Twitter accounts to make sure that we're really keeping up with what's going on in the industry and positioning ourselves as thought leaders for social media. So if you have a Meet Edgar account, I always recommend using one of your account connections for your personal LinkedIn profile and making sure you're sending things like industry articles that are curated for what your niche and specific expertise is in, sharing your own thoughts about them, and making sure you're using it as another stream to get your company content out there. The reason that LinkedIn especially I love so much is because it is one of the most indexed SEO and Googleable platforms out there when it comes to social media. So if you go out and Google your name, or if you go out and Google your company's name, a lot of the time, LinkedIn profiles are some of the top searches that show up. This is a huge game changer if you have actually provided a detailed description of who you are, what you're all about, and make sure that your feed is consistently showing what you are consuming, what you are thinking about, and positioning yourself as that expert status. Remember, a lot of the time when people do business, they want to know the person behind the business or the people who work at that company. So if you are a solopreneur or an entrepreneur, it is a must. But even if you're just an employee, this outward perspective of who you are and this perception you're putting out on LinkedIn is so important for the success of your company. So make sure you're utilizing Meet Edgar to promote yourself. You know, we do actually have a smaller plan here at Meet Edgar called Eddie. This is for 3 social media account connections. A lot of smaller accounts that are used on the Eddie plan are used to make sure that you're showcasing yourself as an expert in your industry and personal branding online. We all know personal branding goes a long way these days, especially when it comes to getting hired for a job. If you can show people a LinkedIn profile that is essentially diving into how interested you are in the topic of what you're applying for, think about how that could set you apart from others who are applying for that same job, right? So these are just ways you can use a social media automation tool for LinkedIn. But truthfully, you know, LinkedIn is one of the oldest social networks. It was actually launched in 2002. When it launched, it only had 4,500 members. Look how far it has come. In the last couple of years, Microsoft actually purchased LinkedIn, and we've seen the direction it going being much more social. People are sharing personal stories, and they're actually doing things like sharing quotes, inspirational content, that type of stuff that you usually typically see just reserved for Facebook or Instagram, and they're seeing a lot of traction on it. LinkedIn is one of the places people are getting organic reach in numbers that they are only imagining 10 years ago on Facebook. So if you haven't leveraged the power of LinkedIn, now is the time to do it, because we know the more crowded these platforms get and the more people get onto the fact that you can still get great organic LinkedIn reach, the more people are going to do it, which just makes the feeds more crowded, which means your reach will decrease, right? So make sure you're hopping on this now. A lot of the time, LinkedIn is one of the places we suggest at Meet Edgar for showcasing your expertise in your company, because 4 out of 5 people on LinkedIn, so if you have a profile and you're consuming on LinkedIn, 4 out of 5 of those people are actually designated as decision makers in their company. So people on LinkedIn typically have the authority and power to make decisions about who they're going to work with or what they're going to purchase for their companies or for their personal lives, of course. But think about how powerful this statistic is. If we are going out there and advertising a social media automation software, if we're advertising to people who don't have the authority to purchase this for their company, it's still good to get that brand awareness, but we're not going to see the conversion rates. Whereas on LinkedIn, a ton of people on there are higher enough up in their company that they have that decision-making power to go on there and to purchase the software. So if you are a SaaS company, if you sell a course, if you are someone who produces a product that is especially B2B, business to business, LinkedIn is a must. B2C also, but specifically B2B companies, there is no excuse for you not to be on LinkedIn to take advantage of 4 out of 5 people consuming your content there actually having the power to purchase from you. I also love LinkedIn because longer form posts that can position you as an expert and go really deep into your thought leadership actually do pretty well. You can do this just as posts, of course, leading back to your blog or just as text only posts, but they also have a platform called Pulse. This is where you can actually do things like repurpose the blog content that lives on your blog and actually just post it natively right on LinkedIn. We talk about the concept that social networks have the ability or have the want and desire to keep you within their platform, right? So if every single social media status update you're sharing has a link that's sending you to a different site, the social network algorithm doesn't love that the most because you are directing people away from their platform. LinkedIn gives you this ability to publish directly on their platform, a full-length blog post, and people actually are used to this. It is a native language on LinkedIn that people go there to consume this long-form content. So if you are someone who writes a blog, make sure that you're repurposing this by simply copying and pasting that text and doing it directly on LinkedIn. Remember, the more we can amplify our message and give people the opportunity to consume it where and how they want, the better our message is going to be received. We don't want to force people to go to our blog if they prefer to consume content on the LinkedIn platform directly. Another thing that I love about LinkedIn is the ability of what we call dark social. So dark social are those things that aren't out on your feed, that aren't public for everyone to see. They're things like your DMs. LinkedIn is the perfect place to start creating one-on-one relationships. As marketers and as content creators, oftentimes we overlook the power of one-on-one relationships. But I can tell you, if someone emails me directly or sends me a DM with some personal details about who I am, and I have been shown that they've taken the time to actually go in there and find something out about me, I'm gonna pay more attention to that email than if it's just a mass marketed email to everyone. It's just human nature. If you can show that you care and you've done the research ahead of time, people are going to pay more attention. This isn't necessarily a super scalable strategy in your business, but sometimes we have to do things that don't scale so that we can stand out in our industry. So set aside maybe 20 minutes every day to get on LinkedIn and to search for job titles or to search for people who are decision makers in their company who might want to purchase from you. Send them a DM, say something specific that you learned from their profile, ask to open up a conversation. When you're doing this, it not only sends a signal to the LinkedIn algorithm that you're connecting with a certain type of person in your industry. Remember, algorithms exist to make sure the content we're putting out there is seen by the right people. They're not an evil thing. They just want to make sure they're optimizing the right content for the right people. So if you're connecting over DMs with people, this dark social also goes into the algorithm. It shows LinkedIn who is replying to you and who likes to consume content by you to make sure that your feed posts will actually show up in front of the right people. So set up aside 20 minutes every day to go and DM people and start a conversation. Make sure that you're not selling right away, but you're actually just opening up this idea of, hey, I noticed that you might have this problem in your business. Agitate that pain point a little bit in your email, right? Let them know, hey, this problem, it's going to amplify out over the next couple of months if you don't do something about it. And then you can present your solution of saying, hey, I have something that could really offer you value. If you're interested in this, let me know. That will open up a great conversation, and those one-on-one bonds will be far better than just sending out a mass email for conversion rates. LinkedIn is really awesome. We were saying it started out with 4,000 people and it grows by 2 new members are added every second, every day. Since Microsoft purchased it, they've actually put out numbers that 500 million users are on LinkedIn. So every day doing 20 minutes of connecting with some of these 500 million users, even if you don't see return right away, eventually you're gonna find the right people. So just take time, just stay consistent, and be willing to do those things that others in your industry are not willing to do. Not everyone is unwilling to do those unscalable things. But as people like Simon Sinek and as people like Kevin Kelly write these articles that are about the power of one or about the power of 1,000 true fans being far more important than having millions of fans out there, the more that you can take this mindset into your own marketing and remind yourself that you just need a small, strong community who agrees and resonates with your message, not millions of followers, the better connections you're going to have on social media. So if you're looking for other ways to really optimize your pages, I want you to also remember you want to put your best foot forward. So we talk about having a consistent feed and making sure you're getting a lot of different content out there, making sure you're varying your content. You know, at Meet Edgar, we really stress having a category-based system of posting your social media status updates. But there's this feature on LinkedIn that is on most networks, but especially on LinkedIn, that I would love for you to use if you're not using it yet, and that is the pin content. So if you go to LinkedIn, in the upper right corner, there's the availability to pin a piece of content. The reason that this is so powerful is because it allows you to pin that as the first piece of content everyone is going to see. So if you have gone out and you've done some analysis on your blog and you found one blog post helps convert people the most, or you see the dwell time of how long people are staying on that blog post as a really great sign that it's really resonating, powerful content, perhaps consider pinning that to the top. Or if you're someone who has a really great sale going on right now, or for example, here at Meet Edgar, we just released our flagship course, Social Brilliant, absolutely free for everyone to take. We thought it was the right thing to do right now, as so many people are stuck at home trying to learn new skills and pivot to being online, that we would release this for free to add value to people going through that. We wanted to get the word out. Of course, we do social media status updates, but that's going to be our main pin for the month because that's our focus on what we want people to consume for our content. So notice what you're trying to get people to consume the most and pin that, but still go through those categories and have a variety of content going out on LinkedIn. I always want you to have the reminder that LinkedIn, people will actually go to your company page and your profile way more than people do on Facebook or on Twitter. You know, those networks typically are just the feed these days. Not a lot of people go to your actual company page beyond just the first time they follow it. On LinkedIn, people actually will. So that's why that pin content and making sure that your description is completely filled out is clutch on LinkedIn. So things you can start to think about is LinkedIn actually gives you a guide of how complete your profile is. Take that pretty seriously, because the more complete your profile is, the more legit LinkedIn is going to see you. These all go into the algorithm of showing posts to the right people. If your company profile is not completely filled out, LinkedIn takes this as a sign that perhaps you're not a serious company, as if it was completely filled out. I know, pretty crazy, but it gets that granular. So some questions to ask yourself as you're starting to really optimize your description on your LinkedIn company page or even on your personal profile are things like, what do we do? Have that mission statement, be really clear. Remember, I know it's fun to be cutesy and coy sometimes, but that is not what you need to do on social media marketing. A confused mind does not buy. Make it super clear what you do and who you are for. Let people know how you do it. The mission and the values of your company should be front and center. Remember, we buy on values that match our own personal values. If we find a company that matches up well, we will buy from that company way more than we will buy from a company we don't know the values of. Why our system, why our strategy, why our product works. Remember to really focus on the outcome and the benefits that people are going to see from your service. I use this example often, but if you've never heard of it before, within the LinkedIn company description for Meet Edgar, we really want to say things like, hey, our social media automation tool with our evergreen repeating schedule will save you 8 hours a week on social media posting. You can then go spend that time with your family and friends. That is way stronger that we're focusing on that benefit and the outcome you're going to get by using our tool than it would be if we were just saying, hey, we've got a library and a schedule you can use. Those are our features. So you want to think when you're writing your description about the benefits and outcome that your audience wants to see in their life and make that front and center, because that's what's going to move people to action way better than just showing off your features. Always make sure that you have a call to action within your description. A call to action can be a way that people can learn more from a blog post, or it could be a way that they can sign up for your newsletter or download one of your lead magnets. Whatever it is, leave people with their next step. Really make sure that on your LinkedIn profile, you're using the banners, the cover photo, and the photo itself. If you are a personal brand, 100% do not put your logo there, put your face there. Even if it's your company page, if you run a solo business and it is you front and center, like teaching courses, or even if you've created a product by yourself, make sure you put your face in there. People love that facial recognition. It's what we're used to as humans from buying from other humans. If you're a brand and you want to put a logo in there, certainly do that, but take advantage of both the profile picture and the cover photo. So the cover photo is that long rectangular one at the top. We at Meet Edgar actually like to rotate our cover photos for what's going on. So for example, if you go to the Meet Edgar Company LinkedIn page right now, you'll notice that it does outline the Social Brilliant course that I referred to before. This is because that's our main focus for what we want people to sign up for right now. In a month from now, when it's Meet Edgar's birthday, and we might have a discounted birthday price, or around Christmas time, if we wanted to go ahead and wish people happy holidays, you best believe we're going to rotate out that cover photo to match what we want people to do at that time. The cover photo is a great place to highlight what's going on in your business and the calls to action that you're having. So look at your content calendar, look at your marketing calendar, and start using programs like Canva. You know, this can be so simple in Canva. They have the dimensions already outlined there that you can pop on in. You can go ahead and customize your cover photos super simply without needing to hire a designer. Think about this as a way that you're really able to not only pin a piece of content like we were talking about, but have a visual call to action. Our visual aspects in life are processed way faster than text aspects. So it says that it takes about 6 seconds for you to process a visual piece of content. Think about what you can read in 6 seconds, not as much, right? So have that visual content to really help grab people's eyes. And always remember, you know, the same things that apply to every single network apply to LinkedIn. This idea that there's riches in the niches, right? Make sure you remember who you are talking to. There is not a lot of space for you to be general on LinkedIn because so many people in their industry have a lot of different people to choose to consume content for. So make it known who you're for, niche down, however you like to pronounce it, and focus on your key audience, not trying to please everyone on LinkedIn, trying to please them. Really make sure that you're listening as well. Things like LinkedIn groups are a great place to start to do customer research. We talk a lot about using things like Pinterest or using Facebook groups in order to do a little customer research, but LinkedIn groups can really have a ton of value about the professional discussions going on in your industry and can help you establish what we call your unique selling proposition. Your unique selling proposition is that thing that makes you different from everyone else in your industry. For some people, that's your personality. For other people, that's a specific feature of your product or service. So think about what your unique selling proposition is by going into these LinkedIn groups and seeing what other people in your industry are talking about, the language that they use, the stories that they tell, and start to imagine how yours are different and how yours will attract a different subset of people who might not resonate with one person's story or the way that they present information, but would with yours. I know it sounds so cheesy and we say it all the time, but truly you are the thing that differentiates your business more than anything. So put that into your marketing. If you've never tried it before, set yourself up for success by having a conversation-based, personality-filled marketing team. So go into LinkedIn groups, see what people are talking about, see how your ideas differ, and make how your ideas differ front and center in the content that you're posting on your profile and in your page. Remember, social media has the word social in it for a reason. It is a back and forth. It is a back and forth system that you want to be listening to what people are saying and taking that into your own content strategy. You know, LinkedIn actually has a huge amount of resources for how you can market on their own site. When I was actually doing a little research on this, I found some really cool quotes from their LinkedIn business site. You know, things like they say, because people invest time on LinkedIn, a proven approach to LinkedIn marketing is to help your audience perform their jobs better, answer their questions, and help address their pain points. So this one sentence kind of encompasses everything we've been talking about today, right? You have to go to these people's profiles who follow you. If someone follows your business page on LinkedIn, go to their personal profile and see how you can actually add value to help them in their job, how they actually talk about their pain points in their business, and see how your product or service or a blog post that you could have would help them, and DM it to them. These personal connections do truly matter. Another quote that I love on the LinkedIn business site is it says, while it can be tempting to sell to your audience, the benefits of your product or service as salesy content typically don't perform well on LinkedIn. So true on any social network. Salesy content does not work well. People are not going to social media to be sold to. They are seeing about 400 marketing messages throughout their entire day, whether it's online, on TV, in print. So if you are someone just selling to them, oftentimes that's just going to glaze over. We are so saturated and so sick of it so much of the time. So be a brand who offers value and proves your worth by getting people small results along the way, by offering them tips, by offering them some insight into your life. And the sales will come more naturally when you open up a conversation and you remind people that there's a better outcome with your product or service that they're looking for. Customers really want to feel seen and heard. The more you can make sure you're bringing the language they use to describe their pain points back into your posts on LinkedIn, the more likely it is people are going to trust you. So keep engaging on LinkedIn, keep making sure that you're putting really valuable content out there, creating that trust, really showing yourself as a thought leader, and be who you are to really present your unique selling proposition as one of the first things that people love seeing on LinkedIn. Awesome hanging out with you today. I hope I get to see you on LinkedIn. And go ahead and let us know if you have any other questions in the comments below or by emailing support@meetedgar.com. I will see you guys again tomorrow and have a great rest of your Tuesday.